just in time. We had a Manitoba monsoon earlier today. A little hail, a little rain, a little muggy here tonight. Clear skies. We're ready for some Friday night football from Canada Stadium. The wind from the northwest at 7 kilometers an hour. Not too bad tonight as the Stampeders and Blue Bombers renew acquaintances.
After winning the Grey Cup last year, Wally Buono's team got off to a horrible start, losing their first 4, but they've won 3 of their last 4. He's got them back on track. Dave Ritchie, on the other hand, started fast, but his Bombers are trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. For the record, Dave Ritchie, no matter where he coaches, has struggled against Wally Buono. 4-13 all time.
The last time they met was the Grey Cup. The Stampeders won. What will happen tonight to Sean Austin on the return? Wayne Weathers, a wrestling champion, wrestles him down. And here comes Marcus Crandall, who was the MVP last November.
Couple of MVPs, Marcus Crandall in the game in the Grey Cup. And it was interesting when these guys got off the bus for this game here this evening. They were showing their Grey Cup rings to whoever would look at them,
bling,
just to
bling.
rub it in a little bit more.
Bling, bling.
You bet.
And Kahari Jones and Alondra Johnson had some rather interesting words. Talked a little bit about Kahari's weight. More on that in a moment. 1st and 10 from the 32 from the Stampeders. Crandall back to pass right away. To the sidelines, Kamal Peterson. And here's the offense. Peterson, Travis Moore, of course, Donnie Blair, wide out. Look out for Calvin Anderson in the backfield.
Calvin Anderson back on track. Big old offensive line led by center Jamie Crysdale and big Fred Childress, a leader both on and off the field. Travis Moore was injured early in the season, but he's back, and he's back on track.
Peterson stepped out of bounds. 2nd and 10 from the 32 from the shotgun. Fake inside. Scott Regenbald is open and has a first down, but we have a flag in the backfield.
Well, defensively for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, that front 7 is, quite frankly, the best in the league versus the run. Kelvin Anderson will have his hands field, Anoki Brechterfield in for David Benefield. And in the secondary, Mustafa Muhammad decided to up and leave, and so he's gone. Capers is in along with Dave Donaldson.
And there's Brechterfield. Calgary called for holding, takes them back. It's now 2nd and 20 from the 22-yard line. Don Blair is wide left. Crandall going right for Travis Moore. And Byron Capers watching Travis Moore on that play. Overthrown.
Byron Capers getting a chance to play and start consistently now because Mustafa Muhammad is out. But when Capers was in the lineup earlier this year, he was playing the halfback spot. So now he's moved out to that corner. Playing on the corner, he's going to see a lot of Travis Moore here tonight.
Yeah, Mustafa Muhammad went AWOL for personal reasons. They've never released them to the public yet, but for all intents and purposes, he is no longer a Blue Bomber. There's Charles Roberts. He's had some trouble lately hanging on to the football. Duncan O'Mahony, the punt. Roberts spins away. Still on his feet. And I'll tell you what, he made a lot more out of that. That's the hardest earned 2 yards you'll ever see.
Well, he earned 2 yards and took 4 or 5 hits for it. Charles Roberts has got to get more involved in all aspects of this game. His production has dropped off over the last 3 weeks, and not surprisingly, they've lost all 3.
The numbers have also dropped for Kahari Jones, although that touchdown number is significant. 25 so far this season. From the 47, Jones goes to the air right away, and the catch made, but the ball dropped by Jamie Stoddard. And here's the offense. Stoddard, one of the wideouts, along with Marcus Howell. Look out for number 85. Milt Stiegel, of course, in the backfield. Blink Roberts and Mike Sellers.
Big changes in the offensive line, and this is a concern. 3 imports in the middle, including the newcomer Scott Harper. Brett McNeil not dressed tonight. Milt Stiegel slowed down versus the BC Lions. Had a quiet and 109 yards last week.
And 2nd and 10. Jones over the middle. Sellers, the big freight train, takes it up to the Calgary 51.
Well, a couple of midseason acquisitions, Steve Anderson and Tyrone Rogers, have made a big difference to this defensive front 7. Of course, Alondra Johnson is still the leader in the group with 14 years experience. And their secondary, Greg Frères, is playing with a cast on his hand.
Well, Alondra also talks a good game. Little smack talking this week for Kahari Jones. He called him a fat boy. He said he was just joking. Charles Roberts breaks a couple of tackles.
Charles Roberts, at the beginning of the season, was a big part of this offense. Of course, we know what he does on special teams, but in the beginning of the season, the first 5 games, he averaged 20 touches, 114 yards, and they won a bunch of those. Last 3 games, they've lost all 3, and the touches have dropped along with the yardage. Now, he does have a turf toe. He's had it for a couple of weeks. But Charles Roberts is the key, especially on first down.
Well, he almost gained in that carry as many yards as he had last week. 10 yards last week, 8 carries. That for 9. 2nd and 1. And hang on. Calgary running away with the football. Whistles are blowing. They're saying it is Stampeder ball. Willie Fells goes the distance. That won't count, but the turnover does. Here's a look.
Didn't get it from the get-go. Willie Fells picks it up. The Calgary ball.
Sellers drops the football. Willie Fells, remember him from the Grey Cup around the football. Was this a quick whistle?
Ball's on the ground. Very, very close. I think what happened, the officials lost sight of it, and that's when they blew the whistle.
Willie Fells has big games against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Sellers drops the football. Calgary takes over. 1st and 10 from their 42. Handoff to Kelvin Anderson. Picks up a couple.
Well, Calvin Anderson is so important to this offense, and he got off to such a slow start at the beginning of the year. He just wasn't seeing the football enough, and he has quietly climbed back up into the race for the rushing title at 529 yards coming into this game. But Calvin Anderson last year had 7 games over 100 yards. This year, nowhere near that total.
He is the Stampeders' all-time leading rusher. Crandall. Right to Travis Moore. All wrapped up. Spot now from the official, and it might be a favorable one here close to the first down, and they'll bring the chains out.
Travis Moore has become a bit of a decoy, and it's something that he doesn't like all that much. And the reason for it, it's not because offensively they've made him a decoy. It's because with the loss of Mark Boerichter, with the loss of Vince Danielson from a year ago, now defenses are concentrating more on Moore. And so if you're double teaming Travis Moore, he's automatically become a decoy.
So it's a first down, and you can see Travis Moore still wearing that visor. Of course, early in the season, fractured the orbital bone, the cheekbone, and there was some concern. He got back in the lineup actually a lot quicker than some people thought.
And part of the reason for that was because of that visor. Without it, he would have had to wait another couple of weeks. He's still trying to get used to it, something he's never worn playing football.
1st and 10 from the 52. Scott Dybert will get to the almost to midfield, maybe a pickup of 2.
You know, Wally Buono's team got off to a slow start this year, you know, with those 4 losses. But the reason they bounced back, I truly believe, is that since 1990, there have been 55 head coaches in Canadian football. There has been just one for the Calgary Stampeders. So when things go bad, the consistency is there from Wally Buono to find the reasons, make the changes and the adjustments.
Well, he wins. Longest tenure in professional football. Bill Cowher behind him. Wide open on the sidelines is Don Blair. Shakes off a couple tackles, and once again, another Stampeder first down.
Well, talk about a guy that has been such a pleasant surprise for the Calgary Stampeders, and talking to his teammates, they can't say enough good things about Don Blair and what he's contributed to the locker room. And I know that he had a reputation a few years back in his career. Well, that reputation is gone now. He has become the ultimate team player as far as his teammates are concerned.
Won a Grey Cup in BC, began his career in Edmonton, former Heck Crichton Trophy winner. 1st and 10 now from the Winnipeg 44. Scoreless inside 9 minutes. An inside handoff here to Kelvin Anderson.
Kelvin Anderson, if he can get Marcus Crandall in 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, then he becomes a factor more in the game. Kelvin Anderson will get you 100 yards if you give him the ball 20 times. There is no question. If you look through the history, Kelvin Anderson, he knows nothing better than 1,000-yard seasons. And if he gets it 20 times, he's going to get 100 yards in a game. The key is, if they're in 2nd and 2 or 3, he becomes a factor on that down as well.
Well, here is that situation. There he is. And look at that. Anderson breaks one all the way down to the Winnipeg 17-yard line.
And this against the best run defense in Canadian football. Already the Calgary Stampeders are starting to establish a bit of a running game here, and that's saying something against the defensive team in Winnipeg that gives up just 67 yards per game along the ground to this point in the regular season.
A line that is missing David Benefield, who is out, had some minor knee surgery. Brechterfield in for him. 1st and 10 from the 17. Crandall backpedaling to the end zone. A flag down near the 10-yard line.
Kamal Peterson was the intended receiver in the corner. Byron Capers was working one-on-one with him and was right next to him. Dave Donaldson got matched up that time on Travis Moore, and that was a matchup that they may have been able to call a penalty.
Calgary, penalties declined, 2nd down.
See Dave Donaldson with his hands around the waist of Moore and threw him down. Could have called that one, didn't see that one.
Offside Calgary. Penalty declined, 2nd and 10. Marvin Coleman comes out wide. Crandall goes to that area, and that's another flag, and Travis Moore is in the end zone. Looks like it might be a procedure call against the Stampeders. Travis Moore made the catch in the end zone, but it looks like it's coming back again. No, it's going to go. There's Moore.
Offside, Winnipeg, penalties declined.
Oh, it is a touchdown, Calgary.
Calgary gets the offside. Winnipeg Blue Bombers are offside, so the touchdown counts. You know, Travis Moore is going to play all over the formation. He's not going to just be a wide receiver. He will be matched up on Capers, but in that case, he goes and plays the inside receiver. He gets a chance now to play different positions on the field depending on the call.
Travis Moore with the touchdown. Calgary on the board. Inside 7 minutes, first quarter. Mark McLaughlin with the point after. Here's Moore again. Stampeders lead 7-zip in Winnipeg.
Hey, Trey, that's for you, baby. Hey, baby, hope you're feeling better. Be home in the morning.
And hoping to come home with the win. 7-0 Stampeders. Roberts at his 10. Breaks up to about the 34-yard line, and that's where Kahari Jones and the Bombers will go back to work. So a costly fumble. Stampeders come back. Travis Moore gets touchdown number 4 on the season.
Watch how they use Travis Moore. He lines up to the right. He hangs in there behind Johnson. Then he'll go in motion. Now he's the inside receiver, and he's got a matchup. He's got Glenn Davis, the rookie, one-on-one. Davis takes too far to the outside. Moore goes back into the middle and is right there to slide, come up with that touchdown.
A lot of lineup changes for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in their secondary and their offensive line. Brett McNeil's gone for the season. Beaten up ball club right now. Jones back to pass again. Looks to Arland Bruce on the sidelines. And he gets close to the first down.
You know, Kahari Jones relied so much on the big play last year, and that's one of the reasons they got to the Grey Cup. And he relied on it at the beginning of the year. And you talked about the offensive line and the changes up there. When there are inconsistencies in that offensive line, it makes it more difficult to throw the deep ball because you got to stand in the pocket longer.
Twin backs in the eye. Sellers has to fight, and once again stripped of the football, but after the whistle. And again, this was 2nd and 1, and he is close.
Mike Sellers having some problems with handling the football. There's the changes in the offensive line. We just
the bingo game
we just talked about, and those 3 losses down at the bottom. That's where the numbers get all jumbled up, and the changes have been made. And when you have inconsistencies up there and you have some breakdowns, a couple of mistakes, each guy takes his turn, then Kahari Jones doesn't have that extra second deep in the pocket to throw the deep ball.
3rd down gamble. 3rd and 1. Jones will take himself, and I don't think he got it. No way. He was stuck.
He backed up. He never ever got a good surge. He backed up.
And how about the Calgary Stampeders defense so far? That front line, front 7, forcing a fumble earlier, and that time stopping the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in their tracks.
Rod, there can be no hesitation when you're going on a gamble like this. And Kahari Jones took a half a step backwards before he got going forward. Look at this half step. He just tried to find the handle of the football. He didn't have it securely. That made him hesitate, and when he hesitated, Calgary was right there, and Alondra Johnson pretty excited about it.
This is the front line. A lot of those pieces weren't even in training camp. They have come together very quickly.
Well, you know, when they were losing early in the season, they were giving up way too many yards defensively along the ground. You can see 181, and in their wins, they have really cut that down. That has been the key. Tyrone Rogers, a big part of the reason bringing him in helps as a veteran.
A couple of number changes on that line. Tyrone Rogers wearing 91 now. Crandall, no one home. So the Winnipeg Blue Bombers turn the ball over on downs, and also by a fumble. This team leads the CFL right now in turnovers. That's 30 turnovers already this season.
Yeah, and turnovers for Kahari Jones is a big reason, because when they win games, their 4 wins, they're +8. In their 4 losses, they are -12. That is the turnover difference, and that's with the difference between winning and losing.
2nd and 10 again. Crandall will throw. And the catch made by Don Blair.
Well, Don Blair really had to fight for that football. He earned that one. You know, sometimes you run that little curl pattern, the ball's right on time, and it's a nice, easy catch. This one, he had to earn. Don Blair's coming down the field. You see him high there on Harold Nash. Watch him fight now. He fights off Nash, comes back down, and gathers that one up. And Nash is not happy with that play.
Judging by what we've seen so far, Bombers secondary will have to be on its toes. Nash. Once again. Watch Travis Moore this time. Moore can't pick that one up. Bounce pass that time to Travis Moore, underthrown.
Well, the key for Marcus Crandall in the last drive was the fact that he put 8 plays together, a lot of those to Kelvin Anderson, including that 21-yard run. When Anderson is going, it takes so much pressure off the quarterback, and then he threw the strike to Travis Moore.
2nd and 10. Stampeders have been able to convert these so far. Couple of big plays. Need another here. Leading 7-0, just over 3 minutes to go, first quarter. 4 receivers to his left. And the catch is made by Rob Johnson. has it down to the Winnipeg 10, and again another big play by the Calgary Stampeders, 2nd and 10.
Well, here's a guy that really had big shoes to fill in Rob Johnson coming in and trying to replace Mark Bollrichter. Johnson, he's got the out pattern right there on the 15-yard line. He's had 2 games over 100 yards this year, one versus Edmonton, one versus the BC Lions, but tough shoes to fill when it's Mark Bollrichter.
So 1st and 10 from the 11, and a flag. Calgary Stampeders started the season 0 for 4.
Illegal substitution. 2 men in the huddle, Calgary. First down repeated.
So it will be 1st and long this time. 1st and 20 from about the 21-yard line. Wally Buono does not like that call. But the Stamps started the season 0 for 4. Then have reeled off 3 of 4. Bombers started off 4 and 1 and have lost 3 straight. 2 teams going in opposite directions of late. Crandall to Anderson.
Brian Clark. He steps up in there nice in that hole. Matt Dunnigan mentioned it, panel right here in Winnipeg, watching from the field, and he mentioned it in the pregame show that there's not a star on this Winnipeg defense. It's 12 guys that rally to the football, and they call them the 3 amigos at linebacker with Rylan Wickman, Lamar McGriggs, and Brian Clark. But as a team, they are awful tough to run against.
Crandall changes his play. And it's another touchdown for Travis Moore. Travis Moore with his 2nd touchdown in this 1st quarter on the receiving end of another toss from Marcus Crandall.
And that was a tough catch for Travis Moore. Crandall is just going to get some slide protection. The offensive line slide to the right. Travis Moore had to look through the arms of Dave Donaldson and was not distracted. Receivers work on that all the time in practice. They have a bunch of DBs just wave in front of them, and they try and make sure they concentrate on that football. Moore did it there.
And it's becoming a broken record for Dave Ritchie and the Blue Bombers. Another slow start to a football game. Notorious slow starters this season, but a quick start for the Stamps. A seeing eye touchdown to Travis Moore.
Well, Travis Moore doesn't get open in a hurry. That one doesn't work. And he said, as he sat down on the bench there, he said, I didn't even see the ball until it hit me in the hands. So a good throw by the quarterback, put it right in the chest of Travis Moore, because he didn't see that one come in. Dave Donaldson was too close.
14-0 Calgary, 1:12 to go, 1st quarter. Mark McLaughlin, Charles Roberts back. At his 15-yard line. No running room again for little Charles Roberts. Takes it up to the 31-yard line. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Kahari Jones again digging themselves into a big hole early on. 2 turnovers result in 2 touchdowns. And look at the numbers in the 1st quarter.
15 points in the 1st quarter of 8 football games.
Maybe they have to come out to the field a little earlier or something, a couple of hours before.
Or a whole quarter later.
Yeah. Jones begins at his 31. On the run, catch made by Milsteagle. And that is up to the 41. Looks like it will move the yardsticks.
Talked about the offensive line and some inconsistencies. You got Scott Harper in his first game, number 65, as Kahari Jones rolls out this way. 65 right here's got to pick up the man coming. He can't get there because he hesitates, and his quarterback takes another hit. Now, he does complete the pass, but those hits add up over the course of a game.
First and 10, Winnipeg. Roberts takes the handoff and picks up about a half the first down yardage with 1 second to go in what has been another dismal first quarter for Kahari Jones and the Blue Bombers.
They just can't seem to get it going offensively and are coming from behind. Now, they've been able to do it 4 times this year, but it's catching up with them, and that's why they're trying to snap this 3-game losing streak.
Well, you can only flirt with it so much before you start getting burned, and teams are watching videotape. They know that the Bombers are slow starters, and they're going at them hard early. Jones. Roberts can't make the catch. And that's it for the first quarter. 14-0 Calgary. Marcus Crandall and Travis Moore connecting on 2 touchdown passes. And let's go down to the corner. Hey, Greg. Yeah, there you go. Good to have the studio dogs with us, huh?
Oh, and what a reception we got at the Wendy's here in Winnipeg. A whole bunch of people came out, tons of kids. And
yeah, it was great.
It is just a great welcome to the panel and to everybody. And thanks to Winnipeg for the welcome that we got.
That is newcomer Marshawn Tucker for the Stampeders. Bob Cameron will punt for the first time. Winnipeg has given the ball away so far tonight. Tucker, first touch, and hammered by Mike Sellers. A punt of 40 yards, a return of 7, and here comes Marcus Crandall back to work.
Well, the guys talked about it in between quarters there. Just 2 first downs for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers because the Calgary defense has come to play today. They want to come and show that that Grey Cup game was no fluke, that they're going to come and show you one more time how good of a football team they can be. They're dominating in the time of possession. They got 14 points off turnovers, and it's all Calgary here so far tonight.
Wally Buono and the Stampeders have cherished that Grey Cup victory. They now know that this is the time of year as we approach Labor Day. This is kind of when the CFL season really starts. Crandall goes to the sideline, pushed out of bounds. Lamar McGreg's in the face of Marcus Crandall.
Now, Marcus Crandall maybe doesn't get enough credit for when he runs the football, because if you're up around the 6-yard average running as a quarterback, that's sort of Damon Allen numbers. Damon Allen's career average is over 7, just over 7. So, you know, Marcus Crandall maybe doesn't get enough credit for what he can do with his legs.
2nd and 5. So far, the Stampeders have looked very sharp. 2nd down. 3 receivers right. Crandall takes up the middle. And close to a first down, and Tom Europe buries his helmet.
That was close. That was close, Rod. And Tom Europe has got to be careful. Now, I know that Marcus Crandall did not hook slide there. That was a called draw play for him to go up the middle. Tom Europe came in late. And, you know, safeties love to get that extra lick. He's just to the left of your screen. On a quarterback especially, because there's a cat and mouse game going on between safety and quarterback the entire game. But usually it's in the passing game. So if the quarterback runs, the safety is trying to get there in a hurry.
3rd down and 1 now for the Stampeders. Calgary stopped Winnipeg in this situation, almost the same place in the field. Oh boy! Oh boy! A flag on the play. Bombers may have stuffed them back.
Well, Doug Brown got off the ball so quickly.
Time count violation. Calgary number 1. Still 3rd down.
And it won't matter, but you're right, Rod. I don't think they got it anyway. Doug Brown got down in there low. He's right in here, and he shoots the gap and is stopping that center, Jamie Crysdale, in his tracks.
Most outstanding Canadian last year, was drafted 5th overall in '97 by Calgary, was played in the NFL at some practice camps, training camps, that never came back to the Stampeders, so he has a little on his mind every time he lines up against the red and white. Duncan O'Mahony with the punt. Charles Roberts dodging and weaving, but once again nowhere to go. Blue Bombers try to get it in gear, trailing 14-0, 13 minutes left, 2nd quarter. Mills Stegall leading receiver in the CFL, 10 touchdowns so far this season.
Well, there's his pace, and if he keeps with it, he will pass Alan Pitts in the record book. You know, it's interesting. Alan Pitts played with a few quarterbacks and a few good ones. Jeff Garcia, Dave Dickinson, and Calgary. Milt Stegall has played with 10 different quarterbacks here in Winnipeg.
But this is the guy he seems to click with right here most.
Well, yeah,
Mike Sellers.
you're absolutely right, Rod. In fact, Stegall, with his 77 touchdowns in his career, 45% of those touchdowns have come from Kahari Jones, so almost half. And he has also played with some good ones.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Calgary number 3, first down.
You know, he's played with Kent Austin here in Winnipeg, and he has played with some good ones as well, but 10 different ones is tough. And, you know, I think it was Kelly Malvo who was actually covering Milt Stegall on that last play, got the illegal contact.
Boy, there is a lot of chirping going on both sides of the ball here tonight. They've been talking for a week about this game. Actually, the Bombers have been thinking about this game since last November. First and 10, Winnipeg, from their 43. Roberts up the middle, and some room. Look out! To the 40, down the sidelines. And Charles Roberts with the biggest game for the Blue Bombers here tonight.
Get him going, get him some confidence back. And Charles Roberts can make you miss. Even if you're sitting in economy, he can make you miss back there. And it's tight back there. I mean, on the flight over, Schultz can barely get back there.
Alondra Johnson and Charles Roberts had him in his rearview mirror. Roberts has had some problem with dropsy lately, though. He's had a couple of fumbles at key moments over the last few games. Jones, flag on the play, dump pass to Charles Roberts, and Willie Fells falling on Roberts.
Well, there's flags on the play, but what Willie Fells did there, I'm not talking about the dance afterwards, but what he did to go and cover Charles Roberts is really what Calgary has to do with Roberts. If you give him space, in other words, if those linebackers drop.
Holding, Winnipeg 64. First down repeated.
Those linebackers are going to drop in too much zone. Then what Dave Ritchie will do is call the plays to dump the ball off to Charles Roberts. He's right over here. As you see, he's got to get over there in a hurry. Willie Fells, he's marking Roberts. To see, he's in the middle. Now he comes over in a hurry, and he's right there when he catches the ball. Because if Fells drops off and Roberts has time to turn around and has some room, watch out.
First and 20 now after Mo Albanibi is tagged for holding. And Milt Stegall could not hang on. I'll tell you what, the ball was there, but good coverage by Kelly Malvo and the Stampeders secondary.
Yeah, it was good coverage because Malvo is right stride for stride, and it looked to me like Milt Stegall may have mistimed his jump a little bit. And he may have had some help in that timing by Kelly Malvo. They're right down here at the bottom. Now, Kelly Malvo, real subtle, but he grabs that right arm a little bit. Just makes a little bit of contact right there on the left side of Milt Stegall with Malvo's right arm. Stegall's not allowed to jump up. He can't jump up, and the ball hits the turf.
Big play by Malvo. Second and 20 now. Bombers have not been good this season in second down conversions, and Kahari Jones has to sprint now. Johnson, and he dodges a couple of tackles, but I'll tell you what, he had to run for his life there.
That was a statement from Kahari, a little one-on-one with Alondra Johnson.
Fat that.
Yeah, exactly. Alondra Johnson came in and said, if that fat guy tries to run to the sideline, I'm going to catch him. Well, Kahari Jones remembers this. Now, he's coming out, and he sees Alondra Johnson tracking him down. He said, hey, yeah, you think I got a little extra poundage? Well, maybe you can't try and tackle me, big boy. Threw him right to the side.
I tell you what, if Alondra Johnson, with all due respect to Alondra, is calling Kahari Jones fat, I'd hate to see him around us. Man.
Yeah.
Troy Westwood from the 46. Kick is up. Kick is good. Bombers are on the board.
Important field goal for a little bit of momentum. And the one-on-one battles, the game inside the game, continues.
The Bombers get on the board, but they don't get to the end zone, and the pressure on again. When your offense isn't grooving and not clicking like they haven't been the last few games, pressure on these faces, these bodies.
Well, here's what you say. You're in that huddle defensively, and you're saying, and Doug Brown's one of the leaders, he'll turn around. We can't give up another one, guys. I know it's early. We cannot give up another major.
Marcus Crandall and his Stamps have had their way so far. Calvin Anderson off tackle. And already Calvin Anderson churning up the real estate tonight.
You know, and it does put pressure on your defense, because now where you're playing with reckless abandon, you're all of a sudden become concerned with responsibilities. What gap do I have? And if you're thinking too much on defense and not just reacting to what you see, you can get in trouble.
2nd and 5. Robertson, Anderson, big night so far. Flag on the play. Moore the catch up to midfield. Winnipeg sideline thinks it's against the Stampeders. And it is.
Offside, Calgary number 80. 2nd down repeated.
So they'll move them back even more.
Right after that last play, Harold Nash was very frustrated and went over and talked. I think he's talked to all 11 of his teammates on the defensive side of the ball right now. And again, a guy that's become such a big part and a big leader, and one of the hitters out there. He's not big, but he'll bring it.
Crandall. Out to Don Blair again. Gang tackle. Ryland Wickman in on the play. Tom Europe, Harold Nash. And now the Calgary Stampeders will have to boot it away.
That was one of the keys. So you saw Harold Nash. He went over there afterwards and talked to every one of his teammates, and he was very vocal with them. And then he comes in here and helps out on the tackle. But I loved what he did right after the tackle. He's part of this now. He's coming from left to right. In there with Marvin Coleman. Right after this tackle was made, he got up and congratulated every single one of those teammates. He went and ripped them, and then he picked them up right afterward.
O'Mani again. Last time he punted the ball away, the Bombers came close to blocking it. This time they set up the return. Roberts, no yards call. Still pumping those legs. And now some tempers between these two rivals. Last year in the Grey Cup, this year they are both in the West. 14-3 Calgary. 8:47 left in the half. It is 14-3 Calgary. Second quarter. Lovely night now. Didn't look like it earlier today. It came down here. We had rain, we had hail. And now Kahari Jones wants to bring his team a little bit closer. 1st and 10 from midfield. Sellers and Roberts in the eye. Jones will pass though. Gets it away to Sellers. Kahari Jones has to dust himself off. A lot of pressure, and a lot of pressure already in this ball game on that O-line.
Well, there is, and you can see a lot of these dump passes from Kahari Jones to Sellers and to Charles Roberts are because that O-line is starting to break down. Now, Mo Elowanibi and Dave Mudge, that's the constants on there, but after that, it's trouble. You mean Benedict Abisi, he's new at the center position. Scott Harper is also new, and they're playing a defender, Eric Wilson, number 67, who played on the D-line coming into camp.
It's an O-line by committee, they say. 2nd and 2. Jamie Stoddard was running before he was catching.
And that is receiver 101, and Jamie Stoddard knows it. And it's, again, it's just leave it without locking the door. And he didn't lock the ball away. And that's all you do, because the tendency is to turn that corner in a hurry. But it's like a golf swing. You know when you pop your head up in a golf swing and you miss the ball completely?
Never happened.
people say you're pretty good if you don't have to look at the ball and swing at it.
There's the newcomer, Marshawn Tucker. 48-year-old Bob Cameron. And Tucker down at his 12. And another member of our crew here. I'm surprised he didn't get the first-class seats as well down in this studio. Here's Greg Musselman. Greg.
All right, thanks, Rod. We've got one of the many casualties of the Bombers' offensive line. Brett McNeil is going to have surgery on Tuesday on the knee. Eventually going to have some shoulder surgery. Another disappointing start for this team. Again, the Bombers getting off to the slow start, Brett.
Well, something seems to happen to our confidence. We've had several injuries, you know, and when you're missing key guys, other guys got to step up, and sometimes it takes a while for everyone to settle in together. But I think, you know, we got some great people wearing blue and gold. I think we can ride out this tough time and you know, get some W's pretty soon.
I know you're done for the season, but you're doing a little coaching with the University of Manitoba with Brian Doby's Bisons. Good luck to you, Brett.
Thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun working with those kids, and I look forward to it.
Okay, thanks. Back to you guys.
Boy, one thing he can instill on a lot of young players is pride. And
Get this logo.
There you go. Brett McNeil would play if he couldn't walk, and he practically couldn't walk, and that's why he's not playing now.
Well, he's had his shoulder since training camp. He's played with that. He's played with the sore knee. That guy, he's got the W, the warrior. He is the warrior.
Crandall lots of time. And in 2nd and 8, the catch made by Rob Johnson. Once again, the Stampeders convert 2nd and long.
Well, and the difference may be that Marcus Crandall is getting some time to throw the football, and his counterpart, Kahari Jones, is not. And you can't complete many on your back.
Hurry up offense here for Crandall. Travis Moore leaked high in the air. Actually, that was Don Blair, the intended receiver, and that throw was nowhere near Blair. It might have also been intended for Moore downfield.
You know, Denny Fortney just got a hand out in front of Marcus Crandall on that throw, because again, he had lots of time in a bit of a lane, but Fortney just at the last second, right in there, he gets his hand up and he just distracts Marcus Crandall enough so he puts that hand right across his face mask there. That just distracted him enough to overthrow the ball.
2nd and 10 again. Crandall, cool in the pocket. Oh, what a catch by Travis Moore. My goodness.
Well, he did it wearing number 2. I know he's 83, but he had
another uniform.
He had the other jersey on him.
Dave Donaldson.
I mean, I think he went back to the huddle and took it off and said, here, you can have it back. Because Dave Donaldson was all over his back, and somehow Moore comes up with the football.
Quickly again, Crandall to work. Trying to get the Winnipeg defense out of sync.
Oh!
And cruising downfield on the sideline, wide open.
Well, there's a couple. There's two things. First of all, Don Blair is wide open, and he is. And Crandall tries to go to Moore. The other side of it is Tom Europe has an interception, but he has the radar locked in on Travis Moore.
Here's the biggest factor in the ball game. Biggest number right now. Yards on 2nd down. Look at this. Wow. Inside 5 minutes, 2nd quarter. Crandall again, and guess what? Again. 2nd down conversion from the Stampeders.
Yeah, and you know what? This one is the veteran in Don Blair, one-on-one on the rookie in Glenn Davis. And what he's going to do is he's going to push off Davis. And there's pushing and pulling going on all the time out there between receiver. And you see how Davis was trying to recover there? Trying to recover almost where he was pushed down on the ground. That's Don Blair. Little push-off.
4 catches tonight already for Don Blair. Blair and Moore are doing it, but still is Crandall. Anderson stopped right at the line of scrimmage. So guess what? Another 2nd and 10. And this is where the Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense has to tighten up.
Well, so far on second down, I've been noticing that Winnipeg is really just going with the four-man rush. And the four-man rush is not putting enough pressure on Marcus Crandall. That means the next progression there is to try and send a little more pressure. Maybe Lamar McGriggs, maybe it's Rylan Wickman, or maybe you come from the secondary and Harold Nash. But it's almost that time.
Crandall looking for more. Batted away. Good play by Dave Donaldson, who said, "You're not wearing my jersey this time."
Well, and Donaldson, rather than throw the jersey on him, just put his left hand on him. And it allowed Donaldson to keep control of Travis Moore and also look back at the football. It's going to happen to the right of your screen right at the end of this play. Try and get the guys to hold, and I'll show you. Right there. You see how he puts his left hand on the back of Travis Moore's shoulder pad? That's so he knows where he is and he can look back and knock that ball away.
Only the second time tonight they haven't gained at least a yard on second down. So they have to boot the ball away. The Stampeders do, leading 14-3. Just over 3 minutes to go, second quarter. O'Mahony's punt, sending Roberts back. Tries the middle, and there is nowhere to go.
Ouch.
That's Chris Hoople with the stop. 3-minute warning. This is Wendy's Friday Night Football on TSN.
To improve their record to 7-2.
And that is not good news for the two teams on this field tonight as they try to chase down the Eskimos in the West. Kahari Jones. Dump pass to Charles Roberts. Hangs on to it. Gets a couple of blocks. Spins. Close to the first down.
It's one way to alleviate some pressure is to try and get that football out of the hands of Kahari Jones faster. Get Charles Roberts to just go like that little swing pass and dump it out to him. That takes the ball out of his hands and takes the pressure off the big boys up front. Take the pressure off them because this ball is gone in about 2 seconds. Now Charles Roberts can do something with it out in space. The other thing you can do to help with the offensive line is to run some more screens and some more draws. Let that pressure from the defense get past and then dump the ball in behind them.
They'll measure this one. It's going to be close, so it will be second down. Now, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, we've seen the numbers second down tonight. That is not an aberration. That has been like that over this losing skid.
Yeah, when you look at when they were winning up around 60% or higher, and now over this losing skid has dropped to the low 40s. And that's because they've been in second in long yardage more in the last 3 games, and that goes to the inconsistency in the O-line one more time.
So 2nd and 1. Mike Sellers and Charles Roberts in the backfield. Sellers often getting the call in this situation. Bombers have given up the ball twice tonight. Resulted in Calgary touchdowns. Sellers fights for it. Got it. Boy, he is a big, big body. If they're ever missing an O-lineman or rush in,
tight end.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why they're so excited about him. I mean, it took about 3 or 4 games into the season to get Mike Sellers the football. A lot of those 21 catches came in the last 4 or 5 games. He's got a nice average. He made a one-hand catch versus the Toronto Argonauts that was spectacular. It looked like Milt Stegall. Of course, a little bigger version of Milt Stegall.
Played 9 games with the Cleveland Browns last year, former Edmonton Eskimo. Roberts gets the handoff and once again breaks a couple of tackles, and Charles Roberts is making up for what he did not do last week. Only 10 yards on 8 carries.
Yeah, that was in Edmonton, and he has a bit of a turf toe that is obviously a lot better this week than it was last. And you know, he thought he may be okay on the natural grass at Commonwealth Stadium with that turf toe, but it obviously affected him.
He was runner-up for Rookie of the Year last year to Barron Simpson of the BC Lions. Roberts already 69 yards, broke one for 30 earlier. Jones rolling to his left, and the catch made by Stegall, and he goes to the end zone, but a flag on the play.
Now, did it come before or after the catch? Very important here, because if it's after the catch, then it'll be from the spot of the catch, the penalty will be assessed. If it's before an offensive interference, it goes all the way back.
Milt Stegall almost looked back and knew that something was awry.
Yeah, so he only put it in 4th gear, and that was good enough to run by everybody. He didn't get it into 5th. He saw the flag down.
And it will come back. The turtle man, the game breaker, Milt Stegall.
Holding, Winnipeg 67. Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 4 is declined.
And that is Eric Wilson, a defender, also getting a chance to play on the line, and this is kind of all new to him tonight.
It's so tough on Eric Wilson. Look at the pressure that's on Wilson right now. You see 67 coming to the outside. There he is right there. Eric Wilson didn't even play offensive line. He plays defense, and he played defense on that play. He never even played offensive line at Michigan.
Steve Anderson is wearing 92, his old number, got it back this week. Jones throwing again, the dump pass to Sellers. Nowhere to go, 1st and 20.
And that is a tough situation. Chris Schultz will be a guy who could tell you more about this thing, but Chris Schultz knows that it's hard enough to move from one side to the other. If you're left guard, you move over to right guard. That's tough enough because the footwork is different. But to move from the defensive side of the ball over to the offensive side of the ball and not even have any experience in college doing it, that puts a lot of pressure on a young player.
Well, it changes everything. Benedict Abisi is the new center. Kahari Jones has to get used to him. Jones gets away. Still on his feet. Downfield, Stoddard has the catch of the first down for Winnipeg.
What a play.
How did Kahari Jones avoid being sacked there?
Now, what a great play. And it was Kahari Jones with some patience and some second effort from some offensive linemen. Mo Belinibi on the outside. A little push there. That helps his quarterback. Now Mo keeps working. Now he gets some help right there from Scott Harper. Scott Harper hits Melvin Bradley down, gives just enough time to Kahari Jones.
Well, these offensive linemen also know that even though they're new to it, they have to do it. It's here and now. 1st and 10 from the 42. Final minute of the 2nd quarter. Jones to Arland Bruce, and he picks up about 6 yards. And they'll get right to the line of scrimmage and get it going again. 37 seconds left.
Which is plenty of time, Rod, to not necessarily go for the end zone right here. I mean, Kahari Jones can put together probably 2 first downs in 37 seconds.
They only have a field goal to show for their efforts so far in this first half. Stegall to Roberts. To the 20. And another first down with 26 seconds left in the 2nd quarter.
All the way from one side of the field to the other, and it's the throw by Kahari Jones that is bang on. There he goes from the backfield all the way across to the opposite side, and that ball had perfect touch on it. Up over the defender, dropped it in the bucket to Charles Roberts.
Timeout Winnipeg. Charles Roberts, the leader in combined yardage in the CFL. He does it all.
We talked about his production dropping off over the last 3 games. It's no coincidence they lost all 3, and he is back in the fold tonight in a big way.
Said he was embarrassed by his play, particularly last week. This Blue Bomber team, heavily favored before this season began, heavily favored in the Grey Cup against the underdog Stampeders. And they're the fellas. Fellas are getting ready.
Under the big top.
Yeah, the Cirque du Soleil is in town. 1st and 10 from the 20. Jones has to dance out of the pocket. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a half yard or so. 21 seconds left in the quarter.
Key play right here on 2nd down. If Calgary could somehow pull his defense together and hold them to a field goal, they take some momentum into the locker room, even though they've just given up the field goal.
Stampeder defense has been awesome in this first half. To the end zone for Arland Bruce. Touchdown, Winnipeg.
Kahari's starting to feel it. He's starting to get in that zone.
Oh, here comes it. Now, I'd like to see the studio crew try this in about 7 seconds or so. You know what? On second thought, I don't.
No. That would be one ugly sight.
Arland Bruce. 7 games, 7 touchdowns, 8 games, 8 touchdowns now for Arland Bruce. Pretty consistent.
Well, and I mentioned Kahari Jones in that zone, and this is where those weapons, Arland Bruce, Charles Roberts. Remember that play to Charles Roberts to get him down this close, that little dump pass over the top? Watch this. Again, sometimes you don't have to throw it as hard as you can every time from the quarterback position. Look at the air under this ball. Nice little arc coming down and drops over the defender and into the hands of Arland Bruce, who is right here. He's just going to work to the outside and go right down the seam. Nice little move, and he's in behind the coverage, and that ball is bang on.
Eric Riddick was the defender there. Arland Bruce the touchdown, and Winnipeg pulls within 4. There was a penalty on the conversion. Unnecessary roughness. Jeff Traversy of Calgary Stampeders, so that will be tacked on with only 7 seconds to play here. Troy Westwood will kick it off. So suddenly, well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, again, the slow starters, they get a flash here. And you mentioned the one weapon, Stiegel. You got 2 weapons. You have Turtle Man on one side and a guy who loves Spider-Man on the other.
Spider-Man, Turtle Man, Charles Man. You know what? That was not an important drive. It was mandatory in a game like this. If they go in the locker room down 14-3 with Calgary still having the momentum, it's a tough comeback.
Westwood booms one. And the Stampeders give up a single point.
Now, I'm not
with
sure.
4 seconds, and Deshaun Austin.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
That's a mistake. Wally Guano, because with 4 seconds, Calgary Stampeders can kill the clock, go in at halftime. So that was an unnecessary point.
It was a 4-point lead. It changes the scheme of the point system in the game. Now it's a field goal.
That's right. Field goal ties it now. You never know that. Every point makes a difference. In that 1 point later on in the 4th quarter,
Wally's hot. Wally's hot. You knew there was a bit of a brain cramp there. 4 seconds in the quarter. Crandall will take the knee. Good start for the Stampeders in that first quarter. Couple of turnovers defensively. And then Travis Moore and Crandall hooking up. 2 majors. Bombers looked a little flat and then came back with a flurry at the end.
Well, it was all Calgary in the first quarter, and it was Kelvin Anderson and Moore, the combination of the two. But boy, Winnipeg came back like they always do, like they've done all season long. Their first quarter, not very good, and then they start to build, and they're building right now. They have the momentum going in at halftime.
So some big plays in a full house, near full house, lots of energy. Well, it's a full house plus 4. 14-11, a field goal separating these 2 teams in the rematch of the Cup. Getting ready now for the second half in Winnipeg. 14-11. And here's Charles Roberts. Gets it up to the 41-yard line. Calgary ahead by 3 heading into this 3rd quarter. And here's Greg Musselman before they came out with Winnipeg head coach Dave Ritchie.
Well, Dave, I guess it's an old song here, but you start out slow, but you did come back and you got a little bit of momentum picking up there going to the second half.
Yeah, we need to. A penalty cost us a touchdown. A drop ball cost us a touchdown. And we just need to stay away from the penalties. And defensively, 2nd and long is hurting us dearly. So if we can get that stuff straightened away, then we got a chance.
Any way to slow down Travis Moore?
Yeah, the DB's got to close him down. He has to close him down. I don't know what he's doing so far, but I know he made that one touchdown, I guess. Hey, he's a good receiver. We'll do the best we can.
Thanks, Dave. Good luck.
Okay.
And you just saw the Travis Moore of the Blue Bombers, Milt Stiegel, take it up to midfield. Gain of 14. Blue Bombers have been slow starters all season, but they have been quick finishers. Third quarter numbers are big for them. Roberts trips up, slips, picks up about 3 or 4 yards.
Well, you talked about the slow start for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and there illustrates it. Fumble, they lost the ball in downs, they had to punt it. Then they got a field goal, so they got a little bit of something there, and then finished strong. And that's what they do. They come finish strong in the first half and build on that in the second half, and it's what they've done all season long.
So it will be 2nd and 8. Only 2 yards for Roberts there. Sellers is in the backfield. Jones backpedals to the sideline. Catch made by Marcus Howell. And another first down for Winnipeg.
Really nice pickup on the line. That offensive line we've been talking about. Mo Elowanibi, the left tackle for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He saw the pressure coming from the outside, and just before the snap of the ball, he pointed out there just to get the young guys in the middle of them coordinated. And now, you know, usually it's the center who makes the calls in the offensive line upwardly. This way, now it's got to come from Mudge and Elowanibi down in towards the middle.
1st and 10 from the 42. And inside to Charles Roberts. Once again, a pickup of about 2. While you have Elowanibi on that line, you also have Benedict Abizi. You have 2 guys who were born in Nigeria.
And then this one is the veteran. And he's right there on the tackle and does his job again. See how he just stands up straight? And that's a pretty good job in the one-on-one on Antoine Young.
So it will be 2nd and 9. Bombers again have had trouble on 2nd down conversions this season.
Showing pressure.
Jones in and out of the hands, and the ball is caught by Kelly Melville in the pick. Milt Stiegel could not bring it down, and the Calgary Stampeders have another turnover.
Kahari Jones just let this one get away on him. Milt Stiegel had to climb the ladder and couldn't come down with it.
Kelly Melville on the left, the interception. Milt Stiegel on the right, the 3rd Bomber turnover tonight.
Well, Kelly Melville wasn't covering Milt Stiegel. He was deep. It was a zone coverage. Stiegel had to climb the ladder. He got hit. And when Melville saw the ball pop up like that, he just kept hustling. If you keep hustling, good things are going to happen.
Good things have happened to the Stampeders after Winnipeg turnovers tonight. Anderson has lots of running room to midfield. Cuts back the other way. Takes it up to the Winnipeg 45. A huge gain. The Stampeders have been able to bounce those Winnipeg turnovers into a lot of momentum. Earlier, they had a fumble, led to a touchdown. Turnover on downs led to a touchdown, and they're looking to take it to the end zone again.
2 things happen. First of all, good blocks to the outside. Watch receivers hustling downfield, though. Right up here. That is Rob. And Rob Johnson is going to make a nice block on Marvin Coleman and allow Kelvin Anderson to pick up another 20-25 yards.
37-yard pickup for Anderson. Crandall throwing sideline, wide open for Travis Moore, his 3rd touchdown of the game, and a flag on the play.
Byron Capers was the defensive back, and the flag was right beside Capers and Travis Moore. Who pushed who?
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 2. Penalties declined. Touchdown.
Pass interference against Donaldson. Travis Moore has his 3rd touchdown of this football game.
You see Byron Capers, 23, is who tried to get out of there. What Byron Capers and Dave Donaldson tried to do is switch their players down the field. Donaldson switching off and dropping Travis Moore to Capers, and when they did, Donaldson had to grab his guy. He got the penalty, and Capers didn't have time to catch up to Travis Moore.
Mark McLaughlin again for the point after. And turnovers are a killer for the Blue Bombers tonight. 3 straight times the Stampeders have used Crandall to Moore to make Winnipeg pay. 21-11 Stamps.
The principal's on the play. Kamal Peterson, who's going to try to come in here and allow Travis Moore out on the outside. Now what Dave Donaldson wants to do is drop Moore off to Byron Capers right there, and I'll take Kamal Peterson. Capers gets out of it too late. He can't catch up to Moore, and Donaldson grabs Kamal Peterson. So just entire bust in the secondary. Two defensive backs trying to switch off.
Trey, that's 3 for you, baby. I'm coming home, son. Take care of mommy until I get there.
Guess what? He may not be done yet. There's tons of time left in this football game, and Travis Moore has made it look easy tonight. Charles Roberts stepped out of bounds at the 19-yard line. And we will be back
that's 3 for you, baby.
on Sunday in Taylor Field in Regina. We'll see how this short work week works for the Montreal Alouettes. Now no longer unbeaten against the well-rested Saskatchewan Roughrider team.
And they're going into a hornet's nest in Taylor Field. Tough to win there, especially this year. Danny Barrett has done a nice job establishing that home record. They are 3-0.
The Lawrence Phillips soap opera. Saga starting to wind down there for the Alouettes. Pat Woodcock has been out. Al's a little beaten up. Bombers trailing by 10 inside their 20. Jones pumps, gets out of the pocket. Willie Fells drops him.
Really, the difference in this game and over the last couple of games for Kahari Jones has been when he pump fakes like that, he can't go to his second guy. And you saw Kahari Jones look back there. He drops back and he wants to get rid of it. In the first 6 games, if he did this pump and then he looked around, he'd get rid of it again. He'd have time to do it. You see, now he pumps. Now he puts down the football and he's got to get out of there.
Second down again and long for the Bombers. Jones looks to his left, and there's an interference call. Jeff Drover will move the yardsticks for the Blue Bombers.
But you know, that's a good decision from Kahari Jones because Deshaun Austin was all over Drover coming across.
Forward pass interference. Calgary 33. First down.
Deshaun Austin's in perfect position coming across. Kahari Jones saw how close he was and still decided to try and throw it in there. And I think he deliberately threw it too far in front of Drover so that he couldn't catch it. But he could draw the interference call because of how close Deshaun Austin was.
Calgary with 88 yards in penalties. Blake Roberts, head down, still going. Smallest guy on the field. How does he do it? But he dropped the ball. And remember, he's had some fumble problems, but the officials are saying he was already down, so no fumble.
Ron, that's the kind of run that can inspire a football team. And you mentioned the smallest guy on the field at 170 in the program. I bet he's nowhere over from 160. And this is the kind of run that'll inspire a team. He pulled a couple of big defensive linemen with him and then took a big hit from Greg Frères. And that can inspire an entire team, and he's winning the Derby in this one.
Big night on the ground. We've had some big catches made. Travis Moore, Arland Bruce, Stiegel. 9 minutes to go, third quarter. Buckle in. Roberts spinning again. Alondra Johnson wrestles him down. Now this is a big week in the CFL. We've already seen the BC Lions with the upset.
What a game that was.
Dave Ritchie knows that this game's big tonight for his Blue Bombers, losing 4 in a row. Not many would have thought that. And all of these teams now chasing the Edmonton Eskimos after their victory tonight over the Toronto Argonauts. Calgary knows that a win tonight's necessary. Saskatchewan maybe favored on Sunday.
The parity is fantastic. It's a tight race, and every game's so important.
2nd and 10 now for Jones. Stiegel over the middle. Still on his feet. Milt Stiegel dusted the coverage and was wide open in the middle of the field.
When you make changes, your veterans really have to step up. And Mo Elwanibi, right over here, he is stepping up right now. He's taking control of his man, and Elowanibi is doing a number right there on Antoine Young. I mean, this is how you got to step up as a veteran and lead by example. Antoine Young tries an inside move. Elowanibi gets a little help from Scott Harper, and Kahari has some time.
Stiegel has 56 catches on the season, 3 tonight. Jones, Johnson, and a number of Stamps hammering a little smash mouth football there from the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, they're flying around and they're getting after it. Right now, it's just a 4-man rush for Calgary. The pursuit angles are pretty good, and leading the charge is Alondra Johnson. And you talked about the importance of this game, Ron, and you got to think for Dave Ritchie, it's so much more important. Go back to that Grey Cup game, and he hasn't beat Wally Buono since '96 here in Winnipeg.
Kahari Jones once again. The throw was high.
And this one goes right to number 85, and
Bill Stiegel has had a couple tonight. These are catches, you know, you'd hate to fault the receiver, but these are catches that Bill Stiegel usually makes.
Well, you do fault him though. He did a nice job of finding the spot.
Oh yeah, that's un-Stiegel-like.
Well, and there's no excuse for it, and he won't give one, because that's the kind of player he is too. He's one of those leaders. He just went and told his teammate, "Hey, that one's on me."
Troy Westwood from the 54. Line drive. It's good. Last time he played the Stampeders, he had a nightmare at the Grey Cup. 54-yarder's good. It's a 7-point ball game in Winnipeg. So the Bombers get 3 from Troy Westwood. Play action. Crandall has some running room. And he runs out of bounds.
Travis Moore just about put Brian Clark out of the park. He came back with Crandall coming around the corner, and Travis Moore peeled back, and Clark didn't see the train coming. You're going to see a blur. It's going to be 48 flying through. Watch this peel back block by Travis Moore. Whoa. It was Riley Wickman, actually.
2nd and 3. Pickup of 7 from Crandall. Anderson in the backfield. Squirts up for the first down. He was caught for a loss, and the Bombers couldn't bring him down. Big gain for Calvin Anderson. Moves the yardsticks again for the Stampeders.
The little things, Rod. I'll go back one more play. Calvin Anderson got that first down. Let's go back one more play. Travis Moore is putting a career night together. And watch Moore do the little things. Come back, help his quarterback on Riley Wickman. And when the kids that are watching this game right now, those are the little things that make you a winner.
First career 3-touchdown game for Travis Moore. A huge block helping out. He's a leader. He is a superstar. Travis Moore, 5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Crandall again. Wide open is Pat Peterson. Oh, and a flag on the play. Kamal Peterson broke up a couple of defenders. We had a flag at the line of scrimmage. We had a flag in the secondary. The officials will work this out.
You know, from our angle, it looked to me like Tom Europe.
Holding, Calgary number 4. Forward pass interference, Winnipeg number 13. First down repeated.
You know, it looked from our angle at this end that Tom Europe was fighting for that football. Now, I couldn't see his right hand, and he may have had the hand on the jersey of Kamal Peterson. But they catch a break anyway because of the holding call.
Peterson was gone, was wide open. Crandall underthrew the football, came back for it. So we'll do it again. It was a loss of the penalties. Anderson to midfield and beyond. Dave Donaldson the tackle. And another flag, and this after the play on the Bombers sideline. Dave Ritchie is going to be steaming.
Objectionable conduct. Winnipeg number 2. First down.
Dave Donaldson, after he tackled Kelvin Anderson, and another flag, and this from the Winnipeg bench.
Oh, boy.
So there's some chirping going on down there, some yapping.
Objectionable conduct. Winnipeg number 82.
They won't.
First down.
They will not put up with this, the officials. And Dave Ritchie has got to get control of his football team.
Who is it on?
Marcus Howell is who it was on.
Here, Roger.
A couple of guys who are both born in Winnipeg. Donaldson and Howell. And this is the tackle out of bounds. And the knee. Official right there. You can't do that.
Wow.
1st and 10 from the 30. Crandall going deep again. That time he almost threw it into the hands of a Blue Bomber. Marvin Coleman was there.
Well, that time Crandall had some pressure on him. And the pocket started to collapse on him, and the accuracy on the ball wasn't there. A little pressure. Ryland Wickman, and here comes Lamar McGriggs. And you see how Marcus Crandall had to throw that ball as he's turning away from the hit that was coming from Lamar McGriggs. That's why it wasn't very accurate.
Crandall 50%, 3 touchdown tosses. 2nd and 10 from the 30. They have really protected the football tonight and protected their man in the pocket. Peterson has the touchdown.
What a read by Kamal Peterson and Marcus Crandall. Real simple. Here's what happens. This is Tom Europe coming on the blitz right through the middle. Picked up nicely. The hole is there. No safety in the middle. No Tom Europe. You throw the ball right where he used to be, and Byron Capers can't get there.
The receivers have done a tremendous job tonight, but Marcus Crandall has thrown strikes.
But he threw it to the right guy in the right situation. He threw it on time, and it was a nice block to pick up Tom Europe.
4 touchdowns via the pass tonight. Crandall, not this time to Travis Moore, but Kamal Peterson dances to the end zone. Kamal Peterson makes it 28-14 to Stampeders.
Again, the reason the Calgary Stampeders are leading this game tonight is they're doing the little things to a man to make it happen. Travis Moore is helping out away from the ball. Kelvin Anderson with the ball in his hands and blocking. Marcus Crandall making the right read and delivering the ball on time. Those are all small things that add up. When you add them all up, turn into touchdowns.
Arland Bruce on the return this time. And he's up to the 33-yard line. You look at that last drive. Kelvin Anderson was stopped for a loss at one time, got a 1st down, but the Bombers also lost their composure with some rather silly penalties.
You remember this block? Travis Moore to start this drive, little things. That got an extra 5-10 yards. I want to show you the touchdown pass. Watch Kelvin Anderson right here. He's going to have 2, and he picks up the most dangerous. Kelvin Anderson makes the right decision right here to slide in there and then take Tom Europe, the most dangerous in the hole. He makes the block that allows Marcus Crandall to deliver the strike. You don't see those in the stats, but those are the type of plays that make you winner.
3 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Wide open is Stoddard. Pickup of almost 20 yards.
And you mentioned those penalties, Rod, and that's a lot of yardage that they gave up. Undisciplined penalties. Dave Ritchie's got to control those guys on the sideline and make sure they don't give up any more yards like that.
Yeah, penalties, 20 yards in penalties outside the lines.
Yeah. And that's where the leaders come in too, not just the coaches. Some of those leaders, the Harold Nashes and the Kahari Jones of the team, go in there. Hey guys, we can't give up penalties like that.
Jones to Roberts, picks up about 7. Milt Stiegel also tonight has gone vertical a couple of times. He catches he normally makes.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's in Calgary's favor.
Yeah, and Charles Roberts is doing everything he can on first down, but you're right, on those big key plays where Miltstiegel, 99 out of 100, comes up with a big catch, has dropped a couple. Need to change that if they want to come back in this one.
2 minutes to go, third quarter. 2nd and 4. Sellers in the backfield. Jones passing again to Roberts. And look out here. Down to the 20. Big play again by Charles Roberts. Well read. Good recognition from Kahari Jones. And great blocking.
Now Jamie Stoddard's getting involved too, because you see Charles Roberts leak out of the backfield right there to the left of your screen. Guys, hold it right there. Hold it right there. Jamie Stoddard to the right makes a nice block to get Charles Roberts to the outside. Watch Stoddard. Come in here, come inside. He springs him.
So Winnipeg looking to answer that touchdown by Peterson. Shoestring catch by Jeff Drover. About 5 yards.
See Kahari Jones point to himself. Miltstiegel came off the line and initially was open. He comes off the line right here. Look at this. The area is vacated. Stiegel's wide open. Kahari Jones went back, and right away he looked at Stiegel. He pointed at himself. He said, okay, I see you. I see you. And I know you got 1,000 yards this season already, and we haven't even hit Labor Day, so I'm going to look back at you.
Miltstiegel had a number of touchdowns, 5 touchdowns in 2 games, kind of got stalled at 9 for a while. That short work week for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Stiegel absolutely was on fire.
Well, you know, and I look at that Edmonton game, and I thought he was pretty much contained, and then you look at the stats, and he has over 100 yards.
And a week from tomorrow, how about the BC Lions? Upset win, biggest upset of the season so far, knocking off the Montreal Alouettes, and they have played very well under Adam Rita. They'll be in Ottawa to play against the Renegades. Question for you, Dan Crowley or O.T. Sampson?
Well, that's tough. I think it'll all depend on the work week. I mean, O.T. Sampson played okay in Hamilton, but, you know, when you look at it, did he play well enough to take that job permanently?
2nd and 5. Jones over the middle for Howell. Broken up by William Fields.
You know, I'll say something about this Calgary secondary right now. Kelly Malvo has an interception, and, you know, Greg Frere's playing with a cast. And anything that these guys on the Winnipeg receiving corps are getting, they're having to earn. And this secondary for the Stampeders, who had their struggles, I'll tell you what, they're playing tonight.
Troy Westwood has been perfect tonight. Hit a line drive bomb from 54 early. This from the 19. This really a chip shot. Would make it 28-17. And it does. 17 seconds left in the third quarter. Calgary on top. Last time they met as head coaches, the guy on the left was sipping champagne. Grey Cup game. Calgary Stampeders. Dave Donaldson breaking up that pass intended for Travis Moore.
Donaldson wanted a call that time for Moore, who gave him a little push as he went for the football. And still does.
And that is the final play of the third quarter. Big plays for the Calgary Stampeders. Another turnover, costly. Travis Moore. Death taxes and Travis Moore. Stampeders leading 28-17. Dave Randorf come in. World of hurt. 27,876. Most of them wearing blue and gold in here tonight. Marcus Crandall has silenced them for the most part. Stand by for adventure in this fourth quarter, however. Crandall. Lots of time again downfield and wide open. Once again is Travis Moore. And he is a Bomber slayer here tonight.
Whoa, baby. Alfred Jackson started the week with a game just like this, and Travis Moore is going downtown. Blitz coming from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Jock Climby just called it. If they're going to keep coming with blitz, they better double up or somehow find a way to shut Moore down, and they haven't been able to do it all game. That one went 60 yards. Watch Dave Donaldson get bumped off by his own man, Brian Clark. It's just to the right of your screen. Donaldson can't get around the corner to get to Crandall.
Well, do you go back to Travis Moore again? Try to get him the quad. 3 touchdowns already. To the end zone. Capers that time with a good play.
Well, it's desperation time for Winnipeg, and Capers played that play with a bit of desperation because he turned around at the right time, and it was the nick of time to knock that ball out of there. Ball put up and over to the outside, and look at that. Just a turn at the right, and that right arm punches the ball out.
Boy, I'll tell you what, these numbers are very close except for one area right there. Kind of like a playoff game here.
3
tonight.
turnovers for Winnipeg, 21 points, the result of those 3 turnovers.
28-17. Doug Brown down on the field. Already beaten up. Blue Bombers don't need any more of this. We'll step aside and come back. This is Wendy's Friday Night Football.
Travis Moore has done it all for the Calgary Stampeders, and I thought after we saw the performance of Alfred Jackson the first game of this week for the BC Lions that he was a loss. But the little things that Moore is doing away from the ball add up, and then he gets the ball in his hands, and he's making the Winnipeg Blue Bombers hurt. They're going to have a decision to make on Player of the Week, and we still got a game to go.
Well, he's not done. Crandall. End zone for Travis Moore. Dave Donaldson over top of him. Moore is hurt. Dave Donaldson, who already took a penalty earlier, over top of Travis Moore, who has already burned the Blue Bombers for 3 touchdowns here tonight.
Well, that's what I'm not sure that, and Moore is hurt, more importantly for Calgary, but I'm not sure if I'm Dave Donaldson. There's a whole lot to talk about when you're behind in the game, and Moore has done what he's done, but you saw how his leg got caught up there.
Came down awkwardly on his left foot, and that is not good. He called for the trainer right away. Sometimes you can land awkwardly, get a little bit of a stress fracture in there. And they're looking at that shin area. What a night for Travis Moore. Those last 3 receptions, look at those numbers.
44 yards, 30 yards, and then the very last one, a 60-yarder. He has 3 touchdowns on the board already.
The man behind the mask. 28-17. Well, the good news is Travis Moore came off on his own steam. The bad news is he was limping heavily.
Take one more look at it. Take a look down at his left leg. It catches right behind that goalpost. He grabbed it immediately. Now, when he was limping off, the limp got less and less as he got close, and that's a good sign.
First chance for a non-touchdown score for the Stampeders. Mark McLaughlin, who was the hero of the Grey Cup in '98 in his hometown. He's from Winnipeg. Makes it 31-17. We'll get an update on Travis Moore when we come back. Well, it has been all Calgary Stampeders so far here tonight. 31-17. Lots of time left for Kahari Jones and the Bombers. And picked off. It's been that kind of night, and really the last month. James Burgess with the pickoff. 4th turnover tonight for the Calgary Stampeders, and every time they have done something like this, they have gone in to score.
Look how deep the linebackers drop. James Burgess and Alondra Johnson are 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. There is no way you can force the ball in there when the linebackers are that deep in the coverage.
And 3 guys around Milt Stiegel. It's obvious he's going to go to Milt Stiegel. Stampeders are reading it perfectly. And here they go again. And this would really bury the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here.
Travis Moore is in the game, and he can barely move. He came around behind Crandall on that play, And you got to admire the courage. He barely got off the field, and he's right back out there again.
Just talked to Travis Moore just a couple moments ago, and he says he's got a little bit of a sprain on his left ankle, and they're also rubbing the shin area, but he says, you know, he's going to be okay, and of course he wants to get back out there, and has had a terrific game so far, so we'll continue to watch his progress.
And another catch by you know who.
What an effort. He's playing on
Look at this.
1.5 legs.
Question is, if you're Wally Buono, do you want to take him out of this football game, and especially with a guy on a tender ankle? But Travis Moore is on a mission here, Glenn Suter.
Well, he is, and it's almost like he wants to match the performance of Alfred Jackson in Montreal. Now, Alfred had 4 touchdowns in that game, including a 109-yarder, so I think Moore would like to get that 4th.
Last time a Stampeder had 4 touchdowns in a game was 1970 here in Winnipeg. Herm Harrison had 4 for the Stamps. Most ever for a Stampeder, Earl Lunsford.
Illegal substitution. 13 in the huddle, Calgary. Still first down.
Earl Lunsford back in 1962. That is a record that is shared. 5 touchdowns in a game is the most ever.
Well, it's just amazing that Travis Moore has asked to go back in there, because with the performance he's put up and the numbers he's put up tonight, he could sit down and he could sign his painting.
Very slow in the backfield, but the handoff and ran perfectly there by Brian Clark. The stop is made. So it will be 2nd and long now for the Calgary Stampeders.
See Clark just slipping through the gap on a delayed blitz, and that's basically called a run blitz, where you blitz your linebackers to control the line of scrimmage and stop the run. Clark does it to perfection. Big Doug Brown back in the line. I remember he went out as well. It'd be tough to keep that guy out.
2nd and 24. Crandall has shredded this Winnipeg secondary. Donnie Blair this time. That's his 5th reception, and that's short of a first down, so that will bring out Mark McLaughlin.
And Marcus Crandall is really getting his game together now, and he started with high expectation. Remember, when you look back to last year and Marcus Crandall's season, he was the Grey Cup most valuable player, but he wasn't the most valuable player all year. It took him a while, and he came on down the stretch drive.
He was a backup at one time against Sankey. Look what happened.
So he's really still putting his game together, although he had a tremendous run and then a great Cup.
Kick is good. Lead is extended. 34-17 now for the Stampeders.
Cheerleaders are starting. They're cheering.
So another big hole for Kahari Jones and the Blue Bombers. Protection this time. Deep down the sideline. No one is home. Arland Bruce, and good coverage there for the Calgary Stampeders.
You know, at this point in the game, Kahari Jones in that last series came out, tried to force one to Milt Stiegel deep, picked off, and then in this first play of the second series out, he's going deep to Arland Bruce, who's well covered. There's 10 minutes and 3 seconds left in this game, and there's time to drive the ball down the field, get one,
get some momentum,
get a little momentum, get your defense in a 2-0, bam, you're back in it.
Well, Matty Dunnigan made that point at halftime. Second and 10. Over the middle this time. And there goes Milt Stiegel. Will he catch him? Down to the 15. Big play, Milt Stiegel. Did he ever hang on to that football?
Well, he sure did. And then what did he do with it afterwards? Remember we said he saw that flag in the first quarter and put it only in the 4th gear. Well, this is 5th gear. Here comes 5th gear. 3rd, shift down, 4th, and bam, 5th. Now I'm striding. And when Stiegel starts striding, not many can catch him. Nice block there by Jamie Stoddard. That gives him a little crease. And that's the type of play that can bring him right back.
So, in the red zone now from the 15-yard line. Bombers know they have to strike Pater, and a field goal's not good enough at this point. Jones again. Stoddard the catch down to the 3.
He had to battle too. Deshaun Austin all over Stoddard. He came down where receivers know one thing. You're going to get hit when you come down in here. And watch how well Deshaun Austin is covering him. He knows the hit's coming. Here comes Greg Frears. He ducks that one. Comes up with the football.
So you're at the 3 here. Play action. Do you give it to Sellers? Do you pitch to Roberts? Play action pass. Too far for Mike Sellers.
Well, Sellers leaks out of the backfield on a play action, and Charles Roberts has to step up and pick up the defensive line coming at him. And that's why Kahari Jones didn't have a whole lot of time.
And here are the numbers tonight. 2 guys who battled at the Grey Cup in Montreal. Kahari Jones, 17 of 28. Crandall, 15 of 27. But the big number,
INTs. See, 0 INTs. You get that donut over there, and you're playing well.
So 2nd and goal. What happens now? Gonna have to throw. Arland Bruce with his 2nd touchdown of the night. And Eric Reddick couldn't believe that Arland Bruce came down with the football. You see his reaction?
He won the jump ball. Eric Reddick was finding where he was on the field, and by that time they were playing the fight song here in Winnipeg.
Well, the Bombers keep clawing back. Point after will make it 34-24 with 8 minutes to go, and far from over. 2 touchdowns tonight for Arland Bruce III.
Give me the ball. Kahari Jones is just going to throw this one up, and he wants Arland Bruce to win the jump ball in basketball. And he does. See how he got elevated, came down with the football, caught it at his highest point. Here he is right here. Just going to go right in here, and that's where the action happens. That's the jump ball area. I'm going to throw it to a spot. You get there to that spot, and then win the jump ball. Watch how he gets up. He might have been able to take that one and reverse dunk it. Confidence in your receiver to win the battle.
The alley-oop. Well, now the pressure is on a group.
Big time players make big time plays, baby.
Well, that was a big time.
It's on and cracking.
Well, he's on play.
He's a big time player, but they need a few more big time plays to come back in this one.
And maybe the biggest plays they need are from a group of people right now that have underachieved tonight, the secondary of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah, it's time now. And will the Bombers go with some pressure and put them out to dry again in one-on-one? Or do they try and make Crandall patient?
Deshaun Austin. His uniform hanging out. And Calgary will start from the 35-yard line.
There's Jacques Chapdelaine going over things with Marcus Crandall, the new offensive coordinator, and he had a nice game plan that featured Travis Moore.
How about this season in a night?
Travis Moore, in 8 games, of course, he missed one due to injury, had 3 touchdowns. Tonight, he has 3, and he's doing it away from the ball, too. Big plays. And he did that on a leg and a half.
He has had a number of Winnipeg Blue Bomber victims tonight as well. 1st and 10 from the 35. Anderson keeping for 4. The crowd is really into this ball game now.
Well, they know they have a chance. Now it's you're in striking range, a 10-point game. Your defense off the field. You get a 2 and out. Not only do you get the ball back, but you get it in good field position. But they'll have to contain Travis Moore, and they have to do it right now. On 2nd down, Travis Moore has gone after him.
Signals from the sideline. Who's watching 83? Dave Donaldson. Crandall. The rush is on. Whitman sacks him for a loss.
You feel the momentum swing. The 13th player is becoming involved, and that's the fans here in Winnipeg.
First sack of the ball game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. No better time than right here.
Oh boy, pressure coming. That was the question. Do they come with pressure and put the DBs in a bind, take that risk, or do they back off with their linebackers? Took the risk, rolled the dice, and won.
Now O'Mani. Back to punt. And a flag on the play. Marvin Coleman is back. It's not Charles Roberts.
We coming back. We coming back. Love you guys.
Well, they are coming back right now.
Illegal procedure. Calgary number 2. Still third down.
And that's important for another 5 yards, because every yard important when you're down by 10 for Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Now with Marvin Coleman back, who is a former Stampeder, Charles Roberts usually back there right now. Might that be that the turf toe is acting up? Or maybe the Winnipeg Blue Bombers want to protect the football.
I think they want to get it to Coleman and rest Charles Roberts so he's fresh on offense.
Here's O'Mani. Back at his 10. Bombers coming. Line drive. Coleman at midfield takes it to the Calgary 50. And that's where Kahari Jones and the Blue Bombers will begin. And on Sunday, prime time, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, Sunday night football out east. The Alouettes and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Montreal, the short work week. They might be 0-2 on this road trip.
No one has beaten Saskatchewan in Taylor Field yet.
And no one has won the back half of those 2 games in 5-day sets. Bombers trailing by 10 inside 6 minutes, fourth quarter. Jones, sideline. Stoddard has a first down.
There is so much time left in this game, and 5:48, 10 points is nothing. It really is. You can run your offense if you're Winnipeg, and defensively, Calgary cannot decide now to back off and start to give a whole bunch of room to those talented receivers. You execute your game plan at this point.
Remember the shots we showed you earlier, all the Winnipeg defenders? Focus now on the Stampeder defenders. Their turn here to stop. Do not want to give Winnipeg any more momentum. Sellers, the battering ram, and you see the flag on the field.
Right, Stiegel is in a bit of a battle on the outside. The ball dropped to Mike Sellers, and Milt Stiegel is right beside where the flag was down. I'm not sure.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Calgary 91. Penalties decline. First down.
It's Tyrone Rogers.
Well, he's going to cover from the right of your screen. See, Tyrone Rogers, that's how you double cover Milt Stiegel. You get it, or Burgess, you should say. That wasn't 91. It was actually James Burgess, linebacker. You get a little pressure on Stiegel. You bump him with the linebacker and have a DB behind him. That's how you double him.
First and 10 from the 27. Jones to Sellers again. Picks up about 5. He is an awfully tough guy to bring down, Mike Sellers.
You know that interception that Jones threw about 3 series ago to Burgess? He's learned from it already, and that's how you progress as a player in any position. But Kahari Jones learned from that, and now as the time runs down, he is being patient. He's gone back to the game plan.
Kahari Jones in the shotgun. 4.5 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Going to Bruce again. And this time, Mr. Riddick has a say.
Eric Riddick over there is in a battle with Bruce. The fans want a penalty, but I would love to make a point here about the officiating. I think it's been pretty good tonight because these are two good athletes right here that are going at it. Arlan Bruce and Eric Riddick are battling here. Little push, little pull, little turnaround, both looking for the ball, trying to get position, and the flag stays in the back pocket of the official. And that's a good call. Let them play.
So this is a big attempt here now for the Bombers. Pulls them within a converted touchdown. Troy Westwood perfect tonight. With 4 minutes to go, Troy Westwood 4 for 4. He's erasing memories of Montreal in that Grey Cup game.
Well, he is the entire season. He's played pretty well all year long. And after every kick, he talks to Tyrone Rogers, Calgary Stampeders, who of course was a former teammate.
Rogers played in Winnipeg a couple of seasons, and it has been an interesting story, this game story. Stampeders with all the early momentum, and it has been snatched away, sucked away a little bit by the Blue Bombers here.
It's weird. It's been Calgary in the first, Calgary to start the second half, and now Winnipeg's coming on.
Stampeders want to run the football right now. Calvin Anderson head down. Byron Capers the stop, but a big gain on first down for Calvin Anderson.
And Noki Brechterfield just did about everything he could to try and cut Calvin Anderson off at the point of attack. And he was very close.
Calvin Anderson last year, 7 100-yard games and more, and 103 tonight. It's a big play here. 2nd and 2. Crandall throwing. Catch made by Travis Moore over midfield. Clutch first down there for the Stampeders with 3 minutes to go in the football game. 7-point game. Stampeders lead. Wendy's Friday Night Football. The head coach of the defending Grey Cup champions, the guy who finished runner-up last November on the right. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have only one win in the regular season against the Calgary Stampeders over the last 10 games, have not beaten the Stampeders at home here at Winnipeg Stadium since 1996.
Ken Austin was playing quarterback for Winnipeg back then. Cal Murphy was the coach.
1st and 10. 34-27 Stampeders. Crandall. Handoff inside. Calvin Anderson. What a play there by the Stampeders. And they not only eat up ground, they eat up the clock here.
Dave Ritchie has had problems with the Calgary Stampeders, and he's had problems with Wally Buono. And that, even if Dave Ritchie isn't in Winnipeg, could be in BC, and he still has problems with the Calgary Stampeders.
A lot of teams have had trouble with the Calgary Stampeders over the last decade. Moving into field goal range for McLaughlin now. Crandall going deep and wide open for the touchdown. Come on, Peterson has a seat and has the touchdown. And that might have been the sealer.
That's it. They're heading for the exits.
And the Winnipeg secondary has had a nightmarish night against Marcus Crandall.
Well, you know, it's been a combination of things. First of all, Crandall has been bang on. I mean, this guy's in his zone. Travis Moore has been the key guy, the go-to guy, and then Kamal Peterson also gets involved. But it's a combination of things, Rod. I totally agree. 343 yards passing for Marcus Crandall. I agree the secondary has struggled for Winnipeg, but it's also their run defense. This defense in Winnipeg was giving up 67 yards a game. Calvin Anderson is over 100. You get both going, and now that nets out to close to 500 yards of total offense. This is a #1 ranked defense in the league that's given up a bunch of yards.
Calgary Stampeders are going to go to 4 and 5. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to lose 4 straight games. They're going to be 1 game under 500. Not many people would have thought that would have happened to this team at the beginning of the season. What is wrong with this football club?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, this is a team that has been relying on their defense in the last 3 weeks because of the turnovers. I said coming in that in the wins, they were a +8. In the 4 wins for Winnipeg, a +8. In the 4 losses, a -12. They're a -4 tonight.
Ask somebody. I'm saying, they better ask somebody. You know.
And the Calgary Stampeders, when Winnipeg has turned the ball over tonight, have capitalized with points, and they've done it in a hurry.
Well, the Calgary Stampeders,
they're back.
They are back. They came out of the chute this season not looking like Grey Cup champions. Keep in mind, over the last 2 years, they've had 32 personnel changes. It's amazing, the shuffle that's gone on, and Wally Buono finds ways to win. Remember, this team started that way a year ago, finished the season 8-10, and won the Grey Cup. I would not discount the Calgary Stampeders.
No, not for a second.
Charles Roberts spinning, finally down at the 50 with 2 minutes to go. The Bombers need 2 touchdowns.
Well, you know, it's a team game that is made up of 12 little individual battles on every single play, and tonight the Calgary Stampeders have continued to win those little one-on-one battles, and Kamal Peterson beat Byron Cape.
And with the win, this is what would happen. Saskatchewan a chance to move closer to Edmonton.
Saskatchewan plays on Sunday. We'll have that for you.
Makes it harder for those Eastern teams to keep pace. Remember, there's a crossover as well.
Absolutely. And when you look at the East, it's interesting because, you know, Montreal is still front runners, even though their winning streak came to an end versus the Lions. They play on Sunday in Saskatchewan. That second game has always been very, very tough. But if you're Ottawa and Toronto right now, and really even Hamilton, you've got to be a little concerned and looking across, because if the last place team, or excuse me, the 4th place team in the West Division has a better record than the 3rd place team in the East Division, or vice versa, they will cross over and be in the playoffs.
Well, Dave Ritchie is going to have to go back and analyze this, back to the drawing board. Inside 2 minutes now. Jones has one mission to get to the end zone. And almost caught there by Drover. And we should honestly give Edmonton Eskimos another win there.
It just happened tonight, and you know,
there it is.
I made a little mistake when I wrote that. But they got the win now. They got their 14 points. But after that, look, 4 wins along the board, 9 points, 9 points, and then Saskatchewan plays on Sunday. So see what happens there. But then you go to that Eastern Division now, and there's Ottawa sitting at the bottom with 2 wins. Toronto lost tonight. They're still at 3 wins.
Minute 50. Roberts. Bombers still trying. Roberts still going, and he'll go to the end zone for the touchdown. Maybe we should have put that win beside Calgary again. Why don't we just wait a minute or so?
Hey, this is Canadian football, and I can't believe I didn't.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You know, and now you're looking at a situation.
Onside kick.
And you almost don't have to. And a minute 44. This is all Charles Roberts. This is number 1 being the number 1 threat for the Bombers. But with a minute 44 now, this kick is good. You get that extra point. You can kick it deep.
Then you got to hold them, and that's something the defense has not done so far tonight.
Well, you're right. You're right about that. You gamble, and you look at your defense and say, hey, let's go. That's what they're deciding right now. Do we kick it deep, or we try the onside? The defense has struggled. But you got to pull them in and say, guys, do we have one in us? Do we have one stop? Because if we have one stop, we can tie this football game.
Minute 44 to go. 41-34.
And
about 15,000 left. The building. Hang on. Wait, they're coming back.
Yeah.
Here they come. They're coming back in. Yeah, look at, they're coming. Here they are.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. They scored.
Hey.
Well, it is the Canadian Football League.
Hey, the first game of this week, Montreal has control of the game inside of 3 minutes, a 3-point lead on the 4-yard line of the BC Lions, and end up losing in a big way. It can happen.
How dare we say it was over?
Yeah.
We didn't really say it was over.
Well, we really did.
We kind of hinted around.
We were alluding to it, but not. They're going onside, it looks like.
Here it is. Nobody back for the Calgary Stampeders, by the way. All onside here.
He's going to try and top the ball and see if he can get a bounce out of it. No, he's switching. Going to the two-man side.
And he sends it deep down the sideline to the 30. And so now it's up to the defense with a minute 42 to go.
Well, this is a strategy from Dave Ritchie. What Dave Ritchie is saying is we're going to pooch that ball deep because we won't get much of a return. Right? So he lines up like it's going to be onside to sell it so that there will be no big returners back there. Now he's got the field position he needs for his defense, but now he needs a 2-and-out.
Well, they may have left prematurely. Some of them, the ones who stayed, might be in for a thriller here in the finish. The Bombers can hold the Stampeders, who want to hold on to the football. So that only ate up 4 seconds of the clock.
Comes down to one play. Now Tom Europe turned and called the timeout. So the Bombers have used their timeout now. He's the captain on the defense. So now what they're going to try and do is talk to the offense, go over the return. Dave Ritchie's got to go 2 plays ahead now. He's got to assume that his defense will stop him here on second down. Give it to the offense, call a couple plays. We got to hurry up and we call him on the line.
What a funny game. 2 minutes ago, Dave Ritchie had a look of resignation on his face, probably wondering about the week ahead and what they have to do to get ready for the Labor Day battle. And now they're suddenly still back in this ball game.
And now Harold Nance wants the crowd to get in. They're starting to get that 13th player. Hang on, folks. This is what it's all about right here.
Crandall, I'm sure, if he's putting it in the air, has to be very careful. And so the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will get the ball back with a minute and a half to go.
A throw behind to the outside, and Byron Capers, who has been victimized tonight by Travis Moore, plays it perfectly, puts the brake on, and in fact, it hits the hip of Byron Capers. This time the receiver was Don Blair, but Capers comes back with probably the biggest play for the Bombers tonight. They've got a chance.
So Manny back to punt at his 19-yard line. Marvin Coleman. Can you believe this? Look out. Big kick. Sending Coleman back to his 35. The former Stampeder brings it up to the 41. And does Kahari Jones have a miracle finish left for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
Well, he certainly is confident. He has the weapons. And I mentioned that interception that he threw to James Burgess. He learned from that, and he has enough time to move this football down the field. Alondra Johnson is the leader, the Calgary Stampeders, and his message to his teammates right now is play like you played for the entire football game. Do not back off at this point.
The other day, the Stampeders came off the airplane, showing off their Grey Cup rings. Johnson had words for Jones. Sends it out to Drover. Catch is made, out of bounds, first down, Winnipeg.
This is the concern for Calgary. That was a zone defense, and that's why Kahari Jones threw it out there. Look how far back. You see Alondra Johnson in his drop. Deep secondary. That allowed Drover to come underneath and be the jump-off man to the outside. Calgary cannot afford to drop off and give that much room to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They have too many weapons.
First and 10 now from Calgary's 53. minute 19 to go in the fourth quarter. Jones low snap. Over the middle. Stoddard with the catch. And it looks like another Winnipeg first down.
And Rod, a couple of things. If Winnipeg can keep this drive going and find a way to punch it in, what about that single point just before the half?
Huge by Deshaun Austin.
Yeah, the Calgary Stampeders gave up.
And Wally Buono talked about it, and he was very upset with Deshaun Austin for taking the knee with 4 seconds or whatever it was left on the clock in the second quarter.
Well, now there is still 43 yards to go before that point becomes significant, but it certainly could be.
Now, Kahari Jones tonight has also gone to the well a little bit, gone for the big play. You have plenty of time here to get 10 yards at a time, find the end zone.
Absolutely, a minute 4 and tons of time.
Jones in the pocket. Stiegel. Another Winnipeg first down.
They've used their timeout, though, so Kahari Jones has to rally the troops, call the plays on the line of scrimmage. He also forces Calgary to play more of a vanilla-type defense because he's calling the plays on the line, which should play to Kahari's favor.
Well, 2 minutes ago, they looked like a beaten team. They're still alive. Stoddard can't catch up with it. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And, of course, they're playing 3-down football. So Paul LaPolice, who's on the right of your screen, the offensive coordinator, his thinking changes now. Rather than 1st and 2nd down and how to build plays together and package them, now it's 3-down football. So now he's got that waist down on the deep ball, and he's going to go 2 more. He just needs to move that football and move the chains, because with 47 seconds, there's plenty of time.
2nd and 10. Winnipeg. Need a first down here. More importantly, don't want to go 3rd and 10. Jones over the middle, almost picked off and almost caught by Stiegel on the deflection, but we have a flag in the backfield, the Blue Bomber backfield. It's either a holding call or a roughing the passer call.
Well, it was thrown right beside.
Major foul, roughing the passer.
Oh.
Calgary 39.
Can you believe this?
Oh, baby.
Wano can't believe it. Let's take a look.
There's the hit. Oh, I don't know.
I think what happened, he may have forced him down onto the field.
It had to be after, because the timing of the hit didn't look bad to me.
I think he forced him down after that initial hit. Let's take another look.
Here's a different angle. Kahari's jumping, he's in trouble.
There it is right there.
There it is right there.
Body
It's the
slam.
end of the play.
Indeed, that was a penalty. So 30 seconds to go and a timeout called by Calgary.
Yeah,
wow.
they have to settle down now. They have to go in there and settle down, because obviously there's a ton of momentum, and that's what Wally Buono's saying. Guys, settle down. Let's get back to what we were doing well. Right now, this is a team that is rattled on defense, and that was a good call by the officials, because Willie Fells didn't have to finish it the way he did.
What a wild finish. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers 2 minutes ago on the game clock.
Look,
and everybody's back. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, there are cars parked.
Can we go back to those standings again and just maybe revise?
You know what
them a
I've
little
done?
bit?
You know what I've done, Ron? I've got my eraser out.
So, hey, what else? It's Friday Night Football. That's what it is. 40 seconds to go. And a whistle. And Tempers short down below. That's Eric Wilson.
Time count violation. Winnipeg 17. Second down.
Coming out of a timeout is inexcusable in a key situation. Calgary had called a timeout, and for Kahari Jones and this offense to not be lined up in time is inexcusable.
2nd and 10. Watch out for number 85. End zone. Bruce. Touchdown, Winnipeg. And a flag on the play. Hold on. You better wait for this call.
Forward pass interference. interference. Winnipeg number 4.
Against Winnipeg.
It was a push-off.
So Arland Bruce's touchdown is a no-go. Let's take a look.
Arland Bruce is to the right of your screen in the zap, but just before he catches it, there was a subtle push. Eric Reddick looked right to the official. The official closest to the play signaled touchdown, the one further away threw the flag.
The guy the Bombers call Spider-Man, Arland Bruce. 2 touchdowns already tonight. 2nd and 20, Winnipeg. End zone again. Stiegel can't make the grab. And it comes down to one play now.
Kahari Jones can get a first down without scoring. Almost. Unbelievable catch by Milt Stiegel. Kahari Jones can still get a first down. He has time. There's 30 seconds. But he has a long way to go to do it. He has to get basically inside the 5-yard line.
He has had some protection his last couple of tosses. Could be it for Winnipeg. End zone again. Bruce has it again for the touchdown. Unbelievable. No flags. We might be going overtime. What a comeback in the last 2 minutes by the Blue Bombers.
If you are the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you are saying right now, you have got to believe.
So Arland Bruce has matched Travis Moore tonight. 3 touchdowns for Bruce. Spider-Man comes up with a huge catch.
Big-time players make big plays when the game is on the line. Arland Bruce was well covered. This is it. 3rd down, folks.
And look, it's wobbling.
That's, again, a jump ball. Frères is there. Double coverage, basically, and Bruce comes down with it. There are cars scattered all over this area and people scrambling to get back to their seats.
Do you have to pay for parking twice? Did you come back?
You should, I guess, if you don't believe in your football team, and they've come back.
But there still is time for the Calgary Stampeders, we should point out. 24 seconds left to go in the football game. This game could go into overtime. 24 in the 4th quarter.
24 seconds left. What are we going to do?
Good point. Good job. But, Rod, you know what? You're absolutely right. What Troy Westwood would probably like to do here is possibly squib this ball along the ground. Try to use up as much time as he can with the kick. Calgary, on the other hand, wants a quick return because with 24 seconds, there is time for 3 or 4 plays.
This game is better than the Grey Cup game was. What a wild finish here, folks. 24 seconds to go. Austin. Marcus Crandall with 19 seconds. Do you air it out, try to get it into field goal range, or do we go to the mini games?
I got my eraser out, and I'm erasing it right now. We gave... Okay, there, okay.
Well, give them a point.
Now we're going to go back. Now, just wait a second. Okay, now there we go. Now we reset the clock.
And hang on a second.
Edmonton did win tonight. That one we're leaving.
Hey. It's the CFL. What do you expect? Crandall will take the knee. We're going to go play mini games here.
Well, that's interesting because I think this is a situation when you look at it. 20 seconds is 4 plays. You need one play, 30, 25, 30 yards, and you maybe have a chance for a field goal or maybe punt for a single. But with all the momentum that Winnipeg has right now, Wally Buono might be saying, you know what, let's stop things right here. Let's go into the extra time. We're going to the shootout, baby.
Hey, hang on to your hats, folks. Overtime in Winnipeg. Wendy's Friday Night Football on TSN.
And take it away, boys.
All right. You guys are pretty jacked up down there. Gonna bring you around more often. Mini games begin. The shootout begins. Charles Roberts down to the 8. And how big was that Charles Roberts play late in the fourth quarter? Here are the rules in the overtime shootout.
You play too many games, you start on the 35. You got to score more points than the other team. Now, both teams already have 1 point in the standings. You're playing for the extra point. Calgary won the toss and deferred the first possession to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. If they're tied at this end, they'll go back and play the second mini game at the opposite end of the field.
Charles Roberts, big game player, huge touchdown to bring Winnipeg within a touchdown and the leg going in the fourth quarter. We are in overtime. Jones is smothered.
Little pressure from the Calgary Stampeders, and they got it with just 4 guys. That's why Kahari Jones had to just eat that one. Because usually when pressure comes, there's a blitz, there's going to be a one-on-one and a man open somewhere. But Jones had to eat it because it was a 4-man rush.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers look like a defeated football team with a couple of minutes left, scored 2 touchdowns with 2:13 remaining. Now looking to pull on a win. End zone wide open. 4 touchdowns tonight for Arland Bruce. Oh my goodness.
Why not match the jersey number? Confusion in the secondary, and Arland Bruce springs free and behind the coverage. 2 Stampeder defenders go down. There's a pileup. Down he goes. Bruce is wide open. Now Calgary has to match.
Spidey senses are tingling. What a night for Arland Bruce. Well, we said that Travis Moore might be player of the week. Well, you got company again.
I don't know how they're going to make this decision.
Can you have a 3-way tie?
Our receivers. Oh, boy. Can Calgary match?
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers with 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal in their last 5 possessions. And this crowd, 28,000 on its feet. Can the Stampeders respond? They have to. Crandall on the turf.
Momentum is such a strange beast.
And how about the game for Marcus Crandall tonight?
Well, he's
outstanding.
Played so well, and then on that play, he almost looks nervous because momentum is firmly on the side of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and Calgary now has the jitters.
2nd and 10. Watch out for 83. Flag on the play. Pass intended for Iptum Kara.
Maybe holding Calgary, which puts this 3rd down play in a similar situation that Kahari Jones was facing when he hit Arland Bruce.
Holding, Calgary, penalties decline, 3rd down.
To tie this football game, remember it was 3rd and a bunch. Arland Bruce tied it to push it to overtime. Arland Bruce gave them the 7 to put it up.
So here we go. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers looked like they were going to lose their 4th game middle. Over the middle. The pass is caught.
We're still playing, baby. We're still playing.
By newcomer Marshawn Tucker. And a huge catch in his first week with the Stampeders.
Oh, man. You show up in the roster, your team is all of a sudden rattled after playing so well and come up with the biggest catch of the game for the team.
Here's how we got to where we are, folks. Bombers, an awful start. Better second quarter. Stampeders own the third. Winnipeg blazes back. And it's not over. The official is saying a catch is made by Travis Moore.
Brian Clark was waving it off. He had a real good angle running the way he did, but Moore went down low and got his hands underneath the football. We're on the opposite side of the field, so from here it's awful difficult to see live whether or not it touched. But every play is so important in the shootout.
Travis Moore, 9 catches, 3 touchdowns, 190 yards tonight. Stampeders now looking to play comeback of their own. 2nd and 1 from the Winnipeg 9 in our mini game. And a flag. Looked like some unnecessary roughness after the whistle had blown.
Here was the overtime touchdown from Kahari Jones, who has had time in the last 4 or 5 minutes and into overtime.
Time count violation. Calgary number 1.
Wow, on 2nd down and a yard, another inexcusable penalty, this time against Calgary. Now Kahari Jones battled back his problem with that time count. Can Crandall do it? It becomes 2nd and 6.
Well, this crowd is on its way home and came back like the Bombers did. And now the Stampeders trying to find the end zone too. And a play by Byron Capers. Kamal Peterson was open in the end zone.
For both teams in this game tonight, this is why you play. When you're a kid, you dream of situations like this. You dream of being Byron Capers with the ball in the air and the game on the line and turn around and do that.
Well, the Stampeders already converted one 3rd down gamble in this shootout. 3rd and 6 could be the final play again. End zone again. And a flag on the play. A flag on the play.
I don't think Glenn Davis looked back. I don't think Glenn Davis looked back.
Dave Ritchie beside himself. There's Glenn Davis. The flag came a little bit late.
Forward pass interference. Screening. Winnipeg number 5. First down.
He didn't look back. Glenn Davis is in coverage. And see, he doesn't look back, and he puts his hands up over the face. Watch 24. Doesn't turn his head back, and he gets his hands up right there. Ball ends up bouncing off his shoulder pads. That's screening.
We are at the 1-yard line now. What might have been game over. Crandall has a chance for the score to tie. We're all square.
Well, let's play one more time.
Why not?
Let's move it to the other end. Let's go again. Does Arland Bruce have another in him? Oh boy, Calgary responds. Does Kahari Jones have another one in him?
The momentum has swung back and forth all night long. Arland Bruce, huge game for the
talk about pressure on an extra
Winnipeg
point.
Bombers. And yes, we should point out they have to hit this extra point. Mark McLaughlin. Look at those diving Bombers.
There's pressure on an extra point. You don't hit that, it's over.
So we're tied at 48. So after regulation, the Lions score 41-41.
All Calgary in the first, all Winnipeg in the second. We go to OT. Arland Bruce gets Winnipeg the big lead, 7 points. Now Calgary has to match. They get the penalty to get him down on the 1, and they get Scott Dyberg to match it.
Well, the 2 number 4s with touchdowns. 4 touchdowns for Bruce tonight, a week when Alfred Jackson had 4. Another one by Bruce ties the CFL record.
And you know, it's fitting because when the panel's on the road, we go to OT and Wendy's Friday Night Football, and now that we're moving to the opposite end of the field.
Oh yeah, they might be bringing it right to you guys. You better turn around down there.
That winning touchdown may come right into the lap of Chris Schultz.
Hey, you guys turn around and watch this now. Stampeders turn. Second mini game in the shootout. Crandall to the sideline from Peterson, and a flag at the line of scrimmage.
That's going to go against Calgary, so that puts them in a hole because
Holding, Calgary 68. First down repeated.
it's an important call because in the shootout, and Rylan Wickman is slipping off right now. This is the second mini game. Here's a little reminder of the rules. We're into the second. Both teams already have a point. But that penalty to start this second mini game is very crucial because now it pushes Calgary out of field goal range. Because remember, they get the ball first now, so it starts over again. If they get the field goal, Winnipeg has to match the field goal or do better to win the game. So now this penalty pushes Calgary back out of field goal range, so it puts the advantage now squarely on the shoulders of the Winnipeg defense.
You know, you can look at so many things in this game, the sequence of events, the plays, and we harken back to that single point that was given up way back when.
4 seconds left in the half. Deshaun Austin takes the kickoff and kneels down, and the way Wally Buono talked about it at halftime, he said it was the team that did it. He said our team decided to do that, and I don't know why they did. And I'm not sure that Deshaun Austin should take all the blame here. I mean, he had captains and leaders out there that probably turned around and said, just give up the point. And now, how big is that point?
But then again, with 2 minutes left, you have a 2-touchdown lead. I know it's the Canadian Football League, but the Stampeders were showing no signs of melting at that point and then had a meltdown. The Bombers turned it on. Crandall, first and 20. Incomplete.
Oh, and he had him. Stepped up. He had a great throwing lane to throw that ball to Don Blair across the middle, and he just one-hopped it.
It has been a wild ride tonight, folks. Travis Moore, 3 touchdown catches. The Bombers 31 points in their last 5 possessions. This rematch of last November 25th in Montreal. It started slowly for the Bombers. The Stampeders took the lead, and Crandall on the run. Cuts inside, dives for the first down.
Oh, baby. Oh, Marcus Crandall. They're going to have to bring him in and measure. That's how close, but it's close enough that if it is third down, why not punch it forward and keep the drive alive? Because the way Winnipeg offensively has played over the last 3 minutes of regulation and overtime, you almost think you need the major.
Well, it's been like and they're short. It's been like an NBA game. Last team with the ball wins.
Oh, yeah, and down to the last part of the fourth quarter. And here's Crandall, and this is just reaching way down in the pit of your belly and finding a way to make it happen.
Marcus Crandall has played like an MVP that he was at the Grey Cup game a year ago. Kahari Jones at a slow start, turned it on. Blue Bombers make the big comeback. Stampeders come right back.
Doug Brown's up in there getting ready to lower down. This is not a gimme.
3rd and 1. There have been no turnovers tonight for the Stampeders. And they won't turn it over here.
Oh, baby, because they were out of field goal range. Mark McLaughlin's longest kick this year is 48 yards. If Marcus Crandall doesn't get a yard on that long run, he is kicking a 52-yard attempt with all this pressure in the crowd on him. That play from Marcus Crandall, you're right, was MVP material.
Mark McLaughlin, born and raised in Winnipeg. Had a great night here, 98, when he won the Cup, game-winning field goal. Might be called upon here, but the way they're going to the end zone, I wouldn't count on it. Crandall, wide out, Don Blair. The officials are right there. Out of bounds play. Don Blair.
Winnipeg decided to drop into his zone. That's why Don Blair was the man, and he just barely. You only need 1 foot in the Canadian Football League.
Boy, you know what?
He looked like he had that right toe in, didn't he?
Sure did. That was close. But it will be 2nd and 10. Crandall and the Stampeders have excelled in this situation tonight.
I got to show you. Hey, Doug Brown lost his helmet at the snap of the ball. You don't think Doug Brown is excited about this situation? I talked about when you're a kid playing. Doug Brown came off the ball, lost his helmet, and bull rushed his way to Marcus Crandall. Watch this guy go here, right here. I mean, folks, look at this. The helmet's off, and he doesn't care. I'm going at it. Oh, man.
They say the season really doesn't begin until Labor Day.
Yeah,
well, you know what?
I don't buy that.
Out the window.
I don't buy that.
Well, here comes McLaughlin. This, and then it's Winnipeg's turn. Oh, and a bobble snap. Blair has to run. Throws it. And now Winnipeg, with the score, can win the football game, and a flag on the play. Threw it away. Nobody in the vicinity, so.
Yeah, and that ball didn't cross the line of scrimmage.
So now the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, can you believe this? Bobble snap.
Penalties decline.
I thought the snap was low, Rod. Don Blair is the holder. I'm not sure he had a chance at it. It was low and hot. Take a good look at it here. See that ball get down, and it's bouncing around. Not only that, it's inside. I used to hold when I played in Saskatchewan, and if the ball is inside, it's more difficult close to your body, and then if it gets low like that, it's almost impossible.
The Bombers now with the football at the 35, well within Troy Westwood's range. If they want to move it closer, they can also just kick it through the end zone, get the single point for the W.
Well, it changes their strategy. They don't have to play as aggressively. They can hand the ball off. They're going with 2 backs, Sellers and Charles Roberts.
And they do want to hang on to the football. Roberts down to the 20. Charles Roberts has hung on to the football tonight in the last game. Fumbled it at a crucial point. Right now, that's something you do not want to do.
And right now, those goalposts start to shrink if you're a kicker on the sideline.
And here comes the kick team. They're not waiting any longer. The Bombers are going for the win. Dutch and Duffy coming up. How do you the highlight package from this is going to take up a half an hour.
Well, they're still building it.
So 3 points will do it. 1 point will do it. What a comeback by Winnipeg. This for the win.
It is the type of game that could turn a season around for you in a hurry.
That bench looked so deflated, looked so defeated. It looked like it was going to be 4 in a row. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. What a comeback. Wally Buono probably speechless, and Arlan Bruce
CFL Live, baby, it's on.
And guess what, Arlen? You got the game ball brought to you by SportCheck.ca, Canada's choice for sports. Why not? 4 touchdowns.
And right after you said that, he turned and said, they got to give it to me.
You got it, Arlen.
Hey, not only 4 touchdowns, but with the pressure on them. Now we can make the adjustments in the standings, and here's how it looks now, folks. Winnipeg gets the extra point. They jump up with 10, and 2 broadcasters have learned a valuable lesson.
And probably need a good night's sleep. What an emotional ride tonight. Turned into a great football game. All those poor people who left early. Bombers win it